Well, guys, it's finally time. I'm gonna finally do that countdown on Death Battle. That's right, I'm finally doing it this July. Man, I really slacked this year, did I? Anywho, before Death Battle, the internet was still obsessed with fights to the death, including myself, with the Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny to the Flash games of Mugen. And of course, one of the interesting rivalries is Mario and Sonic, even shown in Smash Bros. Brawl, which freaked so many people out back then. I myself was very obsessed with Mario vs. Sonic. There were tons of great videos on it. I would eventually discover Death Battle through that scene, Mario vs. Sonic, and this was around when Luke Skywalker vs. Harry Potter was coming out. But yeah, ever since then, I became a huge fan of Death Battle. Now, the web series was based off of Spike's Deadliest Warrior, a similar premise, but this was more on historical figures. Now, this wasn't, of course, the only online show to feature fights to the deaths. This has been going around since the Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny, but there have been spin-off shows like Death Battle before, such as Cartoon Fight Club and...
What's up, guys? This is your boy Aaron, and this is Superpower Beatdown!
This series.
Okay, guys, today we got an epic matchup. We got Games of Thrones, Jon Snow versus Harley Quinn. Yeah, and then you guys vote because obviously fan bias does not exist here. So we're gonna find out who wins between Jon Snow and Harley Quinn.
Look, just because you're basing it off polls doesn't mean it's a good idea. I mean, especially because your site has more viruses than a Zimbabwe hospital.
Typical hater. We got Jason David Frank and we got Jessica Nightbury in this.
Look, I don't care about whether or not who's on your show. What matters is that you actually do research within these characters. Otherwise, it just looks absolutely goofy. Via Captain America versus Master Chief.
Whatever, hater. Anyways, we're gonna do our battle between Jon Snow and Harley Quinn. And, it will take place in Dagobah. Yeah. You make sure you vote, people. Make sure you vote.
Fine, whatever. Anyways, to celebrate the 100th Death Battle, I'm doing the top 10 Death Battle requests that I want. And an honorable mention, no doubt, goes out to Galactus vs. Unicron. Why was this an honorable mention? Because it's pretty much going to happen in the 100th Death Battle. I mean, come on, it's literally two giants that are literally eating planets. How could this not be the 100th Death Battle? Either that or it's Wiz vs. Boomstick. I don't know. Anyways, this is the top 10 most requested Death Battles. Number 10. May vs. Mr. Freeze. In this chilling battle, we have two cryogenic scientists with giant heavy cryogenic guns that'll give their opponents more than the cold shoulder. Cool party. Okay, aside from the Freeze puns, these two would make an excellent match against each other. Mr. Freeze contains massive strength and has faced the Batman regularly. However, let's not downgrade May here, as she is just as smart as Freeze and can think quick on her feet. Plus, she's faced a multitude of heroes and villains as well. And plus, unlike May, Freeze can't survive without his suit, and that's a huge disadvantage for him, especially when it comes to extreme temperatures. Although, he could crawl away in that weird spider head thingy. So when it comes to who would win this fight, I would go with Mr. Freeze because he has more of the experience, and he has a lot more strength. But hey, I see this battle going either way!
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
Number 9. Freddy Krueger vs. Dr. Destiny. As we're getting near to 100 death battles, we still haven't seen a horror movie character within a death battle yet. Now, this is quite a challenge, though, as horror movie villains are very hard to kill. This is why you're not going to be seeing Jason versus Michael on this list. What I am including, however, is two deadly dream killers between Krueger and John Dee, aka Dr. Destiny. Freddy Krueger is quite the dream killer, as he can manipulate dreams to his own pleasing, and while he has been defeated by some meddling kids from time to time, he's faced off against foes like Jason, Mortal Kombat characters, and even Kratos himself. His main weakness, however, is if you bring him outside of the dream world, he's not that powerful, and he can die. This is where John Dee has the advantage. While in a show adaptation, he's just a regular criminal. In the comics, he's quite powerful, as he faced head-on with the Justice League and drove characters like Batman and Zatanna into extreme depression. His source of power was the amulet, until Sandman: A 24-Hour Nightmare, where without the amulet and the removal of dreaming, John Dee somehow became even more powerful and controlled several people at a diner into complete madness.
Now, this is a very close call, as they face powerful opponents such as the Justice League and Kratos. However, I feel like Dr. Destiny would win this one, for the simple reason that Dr. Destiny is more powerful in the real world. Yeah, it would be a tough match for Freddy in the dream world as well, but once you get Freddy out into the real world, Dr. Destiny would be a real nightmare for him. This battle might not be unlikely because of how obscure Dr. Destiny is, but they have done obscure characters before. And hey, this would be a real dream come true if this battle did happen.
Number 8. Gandalf versus Dumbledore.
Now, like Sonic vs. Mario and Superman vs. Goku, this is a classic rivalry that's popular on the internet that Death Battle should do. A battle between the most famous wizards of all time.
Dumbledore is the headmaster of Hogwarts and an overall wizard legend, and it shows with his vast variety of spells, along with the Elder Wand known as the most powerful wand ever, and going face to face with Voldemort. Gandalf is another powerful wizard, and while not really gaining a title and more like the crazy guy who plays around with fireworks, he also contains a vast variety of spells, along with fighting a Balrog for days on end until his death, and then he became Gandalf the White, an even more powerful wizard.
In the end, titles don't matter, and Gandalf would stomp in this fight, I believe. Gandalf is way more powerful in spells, and even when it comes to their deaths, you can definitely tell who is stronger. Gandalf died defeating a Balrog, one of the most powerful creatures in Lord of the Rings, and he fought for him for days on end through the center of the earth and everything, while Dumbledore got Avada Kedavra by the goth science teacher who was obsessed with his favorite student's mother. Awkward. Either way, I think this classic rivalry should finally be a death battle, and we get to see all the excellent magic that they get to use against each other.
Number 7. The Mask versus Skull Kid.
Now this can be a very creative battle. I mean, we got two innocent people turned into crazy maniacs through the power of a mask. This battle could end up being one of the most creative battles ever done.
Skull Kid is, well, a kid, a mischievous one at that. But after getting the power of Majora, he was able to pull the moon out of orbit and into Termina within 3 days. Without the mask, he's nothing but that mischievous kid. But the mask itself is alive and well, and containing its very own pocket dimension. And he has many forms, including a tentacle form, some kind of quick on its feet form, and a muscular whiplash form. Stanley Ipkiss is another man with not much power, but then he stumbles upon the Mask of Loki, and this pretty much gives him the power of a cartoon character, with the ability to pretty much be immortal through bullet holes and eating bombs like a giant meatball, a spicy one at that, and of course, containing the ability, like I said, of Toon Force, like such as turning a balloon animal into a Tommy gun. Though, unlike Skull Kid, the Mask of Loki is just a mask, so removing it would leave Stanley very weak, in which he has been killed in the comics because of that weakness. Though it'll be very difficult, as this mask is very, very hard to remove. The mask has even fought a literal head-to-head fight with Lobo, and it was still going strong.
So, I guess what it all depends on is which mask would come off first. And while Majora's Mask is very powerful enough to bring down the moon, the mask itself has been hard to get off from time and time again. And that is why I believe the mask would win. Kind of like Deadpool and Deathstroke. You got that toonish force that would definitely take on the edge. Either way, I think this would be a very unique battle to do.
Number 6. Dexter versus Jimmy Neutron. Now here is another rivalry battle. This is Jimmy Neutron and Dexter... I don't think we ever got his last name. Anywho, this is a battle between two of the greatest cartoon scientists who have ever lived. But the problem is, their inventions practically contradict each other. I mean, Dexter has a robot version of his mother. Well, so did Jimmy. Well, I mean, Jimmy has that time machine, but so did Dexter. I mean, that's the old cliche. Age of Fire machines? Yep. Monster forms? Yep. Even superpowered beings? Yes! Ugh, this is making my brain hurt. It's like they were trying to cheat each other's science test to enter MIT University, even though they would already passed with straight A's anyways. If I had to go with one, in a very close call, I would think Jimmy Neutron. His quick thinking, otherwise known as Brain Blast, I believe could outsmart Dexter. Plus, I don't think there's any episodes of Dexter that has happened with this, so correct me if I'm wrong with this, with the episode name and all, but in Jimmy Neutron, an evil version of Jimmy created a duplicate version of Earth using one of Jimmy's inventions, and that's definitely one of the higher advances of his inventions. Plus, we all know about evil versions of ourselves as... Brontosaurus veins. 32! No! Well, guys, looks like I have to enter an interdimensional crisis where I have to fight an evil parallel version of myself. Well, until then, looks like you'll be seeing part 2 in the next video. Well, gotta find myself now. Come on, man, you better try it!